and it is my greatest delight to welcome you to today's webinar. Well, for today, it's really very exciting because this is something that I have had first-hand experience on. We're going to be talking on the theme, digital payments for SMEs. Well, right about now, before we move further, I'd like you to, if you're connected with us right now, go to the chat board, introduce yourself, tell us your name, and tell us what you do. And we'll be glad to meet you up out there. So as I was saying, our theme for today is digital payments for SMEs. Now, this is not just a topic that's timely, it's a topic that's really, really absolutely essential for the growth of businesses, to build customer experiences, to navigate new markets, and also grow sales. Very, very important. And we all know that small businesses are actually the backbone of any economy. And the growing number of entrepreneurs, keeps surging day in, day out. And one of the most important things that actually comes to the mind of these entrepreneurs is how can we leverage technology? How can we leverage this digital payment solutions, to further help our business processes and also to navigate the ever-growing digital world we're in today. Well, I'm not here alone. I'm joined by seasoned professionals from all walks related to our theme for today. And I'm so delighted to welcome each and every one of them. So we'll be unpacking why you need it for your business, why you need to integrate some of these digital payments into your systems and into your businesses, as well as we'll be sharing on the challenges as well. While it's very, very important that we keep note of those states. So get ready for an impactful session. So like I said, do not forget to introduce yourself in the chat board. Let us know you're here. Tell us your name and what you do or where you're reaching us from. Welcome again to the SME Clinic. Theme for today is digital payments for SMEs. All right, now it's time for us to introduce our speakers for today, and I'm super excited. So on the first introduction for today, we've got an amazing seasoned fintech and payments leader with over 8 years of experience driving growth, partnerships, and cross-border payment solutions across Africa. Now, she currently serves as the Senior Growth Lead at BudPay, where she manages enterprise partnerships and oversees over 80 million US dollars in monthly FX transactions. Isn't that fantastic? Well, with expertise spanning across remittances, payment infrastructure, B2B enterprise sales, this woman, Maryjane Okpala, has helped scale pipelines, close high-value deals, delivered innovative payment solutions across industries. She's a trusted voice in fintech growth and strategy. She's passionate about enabling seamless financial access and building infrastructure that powers Africa's digital economy. It is my greatest honor, my greatest delight to introduce to you our viewers today, the amazing, the fantastic Maryjane Okpala. I could literally tell the smile on her face whilst I was making the introduction. Please say hello to our viewers today.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be on here today. Thank you so much, Happiness, for that introduction. That was beautiful.
Thank you so much. And I'm so sure we're going to have an amazing time. Well, following up next, a very fantastic, distinguished Pan-African business leader. He has carved a formidable niche at the intersection of digital infrastructure, financial services, and even social impact. Now, he currently serves as the Sales Manager, West Africa, Digital Infrastructure and Managed Services at Interswitch. He has led regional expansion efforts that have scaled, secure, efficient, and inclusive digital technology solutions across multiple African markets. Now, his leadership has enabled the successful deployment of core digital payment systems across Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Zambia, and beyond. Well, his initiatives continue to redefine the technological foundation of Africa's payment ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, if it isn't should I call him a multi-border professional, please let's make a welcome as we introduce Chizurum Amagwu. Chizurum, please say hello.
Hello, thank you so much for the introduction. I'm very delighted to be here. Thank you.
Fantastic. So you see, when we said that the lineup is fire, we meant it. Well, following up next is our next speaker. He is a seasoned financial services executive with over 18 years. You know, we always say the older, the finer and better it gets, right? Not just with wine, with experience as well. Well, he is an experienced financial services executive with over 18 years providing digital payment services across Africa. As Senior Director for Sub-Saharan Africa at a global payments company listed on the London Stock Exchange. Now, he drives market strategy and partnerships. Also, he supports regulatory engagements across the diverse markets. His experience spans 3 Pan-African banks, a Pan-African card scheme, and a global digital lender. Fantastic. Well, he also holds an executive MBA from the Lagos Business School and an international business degree from the United States International University, the USIU, in Nairobi. He has been certified as Project Management Professional, PMP, since 2014 and holds a few Six Sigma certifications. Woohoo, somebody say fire. Well, Mr. Ganiu mentors fintech founders, technology sales and partnership experts, helping shape the continent's next generation of change makers through dynamic leadership and deep market insights. He continues work with others to redefine how Africa transacts, connects, and builds our future. Ladies and gentlemen, wow. Please, we introduce to you right now the amazing Ganiu Odewale. Hello, sir.
Happiness. Hi, Happiness. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. I couldn't believe you were talking about me.
Of course. So good to have you here. Well. Moving on is another phenomenal woman. She is a visionary media entrepreneur, certified digital marketer, and social impact advocate, very passionate about using storytelling to drive change. Now, she has delivered 150 plus successful projects and produced over 1,000 videos. Hear that again, 1,000 videos, amassing 20 million plus views and 50K plus online engagements. With a background in marketing, acting, and filmmaking, her work bridges creativity and strategy. She has starred in award-winning films, led campaigns that impacted 500,000 plus people, and partnered with 20 plus organizations to promote sustainable development. Well, in 2015, she started the Students Meet Graduate Project with the goal of preparing outgoing secondary students for undergraduate life. Now, this initiative has benefited over 1,500 secondary school students across various Nigerian states. Wow. She's also an alumna of Covenant University, New York Film Academy, University of Liverpool, and Mount Zion Film Institute. Abiola is currently earning her master's in marketing and sales at the Rome Business School. In 2025, she launched Bray Max Media Limited and her bold vision for reshaping Africa's media and brand landscape. Ladies and gentlemen, if that wasn't phenomenal, I don't know what else is. Please put your hands together for Abiola Jinadu-Matthew.
Hey, Happiness, thank you so much. Hi, everyone.
Fantastic.
Here.
Fantastic. I mean, I can literally feel the fire already. I can feel the excitement. I'm so excited because I know we've packed speakers right now. And so it's going to be a power-packed session. So thank you once again for joining us right now. So without further ado, let's move on. It's a very, very particular topic to SMEs, very, very crucial. I mean, we're seeing a fast surge of payment solutions, keep coming out. And in fact, after the cashless policy, being enacted by the CDN and, the COVID era, so many businesses have had no choice, than to transit into the digital, actually seamlessly integrating and accepting these digital payment solutions. So, and that will be, drums roll, who would that be? Okay, so our viewers, ensure that you keep the chat, but if you haven't introduced yourself yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. I want to know where from. Drop your location as well. Okay, please let's make welcome the amazing. Thank you so much. Over to you now. Okay, did everybody hear me clearly? Okay, so I was saying right now we're going to be handing over to Chizurum Amagwu to take on the first segment. Please, you have the stage. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to be sharing now. Give me a minute to do this. Please let me know once my screen is visible so I can go on. Okay, so thank you very much once again, Happiness, and welcome to everybody who is joining us online, and to my fellow panelists and contributors. Welcome. Your profile is very encouraging. Thank you so much. So I'll be taking us through digital payments for SMEs as a whole, and I'll be touching through about 7 key points. I'll look at Africa in general, as to how it's leading the global economy. I'll take us through payments. I'll go through some examples of digital payment systems. I'll also highlight a few things around why we must take the switch seriously to global digital payments. How do we choose the right digital solutions for our business, the future of digital payment, and also just take us through a case study around, an SME who has employed digital technology to, amass growth. So Africa is set to be the next powerhouse of the global economy. And if you look at what is driving that growth and what is driving, the sense of increment in terms of contribution to global economy, is really around the SMEs. The SMEs is fueling Africa's economy. Across Africa, there are about 125 million SMEs, right? 125 million SMEs, and that really speaks to how entrepreneurial Africans are by nature. But aside the number, let's look at the impact of SMEs in Africa today. They contribute about 50% of our GDP in Africa. To send that home, what this means is that the SMEs contribute 50% of the wealth that is generated in Africa today, right? They employ about 80% of our workforce, meaning that 8 in every 10 people that is working in Africa today is either employed in or working with an SME. And in terms of the number of enterprises and the reach in terms of company-based data in Africa. 90 to 95% of enterprises of businesses today are SMEs. So we can really see from this impact that SMEs are truly driving development and growth, in Africa and taking Africa globally. However, this is also very keen to see that in as much as SMEs is driving this growth, what is driving the SMEs in itself, right? From my perspective and from my years of experience, I would say payment is really the core growth indicator for SMEs. Once you're able to receive payments, once you're able to make payments, that means you're able to survive as a business. It means you're able to, grow your customer base. It means you're able to expand into more locations, as it were. So payment is really the lifeblood of businesses across board. It enables you to grow, enables you to trade, it enables you to expand the customer base. If you're a trader in Nigeria or in Lagos, you're able to offer your services to people in Uganda, in Nairobi, in the UK, right? All because you're able to accept payments, right? And when we're talking about payment acceptance, you can't do this if you are still stuck to traditional method of cash collection. You need to be able to grow, to be able to, amass the advantages that comes with cross-border payments. It also gives you this visibility factor as a business where you're trying to grow your dependency, you're trying to grow your visibility, you're trying to access finance, you're trying to get, investors. Having digital payment infrastructure in place gives you track, gives you records, gives you a reference point to fall back on even with this journey. So examples of digital payment systems that we have today, right? We have the very common ones, termed mobile banking transfers. This is basically a direct transfer from a customer's bank account to your bank account as a business. Let's take, for instance, you are a store in Surulere and you sell maybe food, right? Basically, you sell food and customers transfer monies to you using the mobile app. We also have the point of sale terminal, which is basically accepting debit card or credit card. This is typically for customers who have in-store presence or where they are able to give a payment device to a dispatch rider to deliver a particular product or a service. We also have payment links. These are basically payment links that are generated by either a fintech or a financial institution that vendors or SMEs can send to their customers, which is now laced with card payment or transfer payments, right? But for payment links, you do not have to be in the same location. You don't have to be in the same vicinity for that to happen, unlike the POS service. We also have the payment gateway, which is primarily designed for SMEs or companies who offer online services or have e-commerce stores, right? Then finally, we have one of the most common used payments methods, which is payment by card, whether your Verve card, your Visa card, or your MasterCard. So these are all forms of digital payments, right? This is not an exhaustive list. We have the e-wallets, we have the mobile money, depending on what part of Africa you're watching from. So this is just to say we have an array of solutions when it comes to digital payments, right? You may be asking today, why do I have to offer digital payments? Today I'm a business and my customers pay me with cash and I'm fine with it. My business is doing well. Why do I have to make this switch to digital payments? First of all, you need to understand that customers want convenience, and most times customer convenience would equate to more sales. Think of yourself as a buyer. You walk into a store and you have your debit card in your hand and you're trying to purchase something, and the representative is saying to you, you can only make payments with cash. And I tell to them, I want to buy and I have my card. Why do I have to pay cash, right? You might lose that sale. So it's very important that we are able to provide convenience to our customers. And most often than not, customers prefer where you provide them with multiple options for payments so they're able to choose. And like I said, once a customer feels convenient, once they're convenient, it equates to more sales. Digital payment also helps you to build trust and credibility, right? With digital payment, you're able to issue receipts. You're able to confirm payment. You're able to send confirmations to your customers to say, oh, I received your money. Even aside that, let's take, for instance, that you are an Instagram vendor and you have your payment link on your bio, where customers can click and make payments, right? Once they follow the link, they get to a landing page at checkout, and then they see powered by either Paystack, powered by Flutterwave, powered by Interswitch. That gives them additional level of trust to say, oh, these companies have actually vetted that this business is genuine. Like, that builds your credibility, that builds trust with your customer, and also might equate to repeat sale for you. It gives you access to finance and growth. With digital payments, you leave with you digital records, you leave digital rails that financial institutions can verify when they want to qualify you for loans, for grants, for investment, for partnerships, right? Every payment that is done digitally leaves you a trail or a digital footprint where, these institutions can verify and use in qualifying you for even, finance or growth opportunities for you. You're also able to make data-driven decisions once you're onboarded on a digital platform. And this is because with digital payment system comes data. You're able to spotlight when during the day your customers are making the most purchases. You're able to spotlight what particular solutions or what particular products are selling the most, what your customers are interested in. With this data, you can now start to make smarter decisions when it comes to choosing inventory, when it comes to choosing your staff, training opportunities that will help you grow your business, right? Also, it also speaks to cross-border growth. You're now able to sell across various geographical locations, not just focusing on your particular solution, meaning that as a clothes vendor, you sell clothes, customers in UK can now purchase from your service. So how do you choose your right digital solution for you? First of all, you need to understand what your business needs. Are you an e-commerce business? Are you an on-prem solution provider where your customers need to come to you? Depending on your business model, you can now make decisions as to what's the best solution would work for you. Do you want to offer solutions to customers outside your vicinity? You also have to evaluate your customers' preferences. In looking at your target audience, what would they prefer? If you're serving a student-based target, for instance, you would know they want to pay with their cards. They want to be able to come to your store to look at what they want to buy. If you're serving a high-end network customer base, they are more concerned about how credible you are and how trustworthy you are. So you're looking at using payment gateways that are vetted and trusted, right? You're also going to be checking for how easy is it to integrate these solutions to your existing systems, to your WhatsApp shops, to your POS system, to your website. How easy is it for me to integrate payment solutions to my existing solution? Because you do not want to, create more churn areas where customers are leaving because your systems don't work. Lastly, you want to be able to compare cost and fees. You don't want to take on solutions that have hidden costs, hidden charges, setup costs that you're not privy to. You want to ensure that your costs that is being explained to you is what exactly it is, and you can afford it for the long run. Look at how settlement timelines. When do you get your money? Within 24 hours, within a week, within a month? All those things are really, really important. Right? What's the future for digital payments across the board, right? Where do we see payments going to, and how can SMEs take charge? We've seen systems move from trade by barter to cash to cards. What we are seeing now is money itself being transformed. We're not having digital currencies. Nigeria onboarded or announced the e-Naira. We are seeing the same thing happening in China. How are you positioning yourself for the future of payments? Tokenization, people want to pay with their wearables. They want to pay with their phones. They want to pay with their smart watches. They want to pay with their cars, right? How are we enabling ourselves in terms of infrastructure, in terms of knowledge, to apply these new payment forms to our existing structure. Then we'll talk about embedded finance, where you're able to offer additional value at the point of payment. You want to give your customers access to finance, to loans. You want to give them access to insurance. You want to cross-sell, right? How do we embed new solutions at the point of payment? So you are cross-selling, and you're also making additional revenue for your customers while giving them more options and reason to come back to you, right? This is a quick case study around Childek and Omoke Oge, right? Omoke Oge started her business as a small business owner in Pedro, right, with 200,000, right? And she was able to grow steadily, opening her first batch in 2015 and then expanding into about 7 locations in 2023. And then Childek came and then she, latched onto it. She was able to explore their digital infrastructure from logistics to payment and the likes. In mid-2025, according to Childek's data, Amoke Oge had delivered over 500,000 meals, right? And had an estimated revenue of about 2.3 billion naira, right? This is something she couldn't have achieved if she had focused on her regular business model, which is to sit, within the confines of her store and sell. She was able to latch up on digital infrastructure, payments, logistics, and the likes to grow her business. So this is what is possible when we open our minds to more digital and payment infrastructures and solutions within our businesses, right? The big picture for me here is to look at where we are today as an SME, recognize our power as a building force for Africa solutions, and also recognize that without payments, we can't have the impact that we so desire. And then looking at our current infrastructure to realize that what payment solution will work best for me and how can I scale. This brings me to the end of my presentation and open to take questions and answer any inquiry that they may have. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. I mean, you touched on a whole lot. Thank you so much, Chizurum Amagwu, for that precise, very apt presentation. I mean, you touched on a whole lot. And I also love the fact that you actually highlighted the successful story of Amoke, because it's one of those very typical story, of one of the businesses that has actually embraced digital payment solutions. I mean, think about it. She sells amala. I mean, this abola that we know in Nigeria. Oh, no. I mean, this is something that people say, oh, amala, how would I, how do I think of integrating, digital payment solution, or even transforming my business digitally? I only sell amala. But this is a woman. Amoke is a clear example. So I must say, no business is too small for digital transformation or for integrating digital payment solutions. And I think the word indeed small, when you say small and medium enterprises, it's in its own way a bane itself, because it makes some of them think, oh, because I'm a small business, I should remain small, I shouldn't think digital expansion. But this highlighting the story of Amoke is just quite profound. So thank you so much, Chizurum Amagwu, for that awesome session. But I'm sure some entrepreneurs watching us right now will be thinking, what's the next step for me? I mean, you've highlighted already, okay, knowing the payment solution, but there's a whole lot. I mean, there are a whole lot of payment solutions out there. So can you give us again a clear roadmap to helping an entrepreneur joining us today on how to pick out that precise, or let's say maybe this entrepreneur has never transformed his business digitally, or maybe has transformed using social media platforms, but now he's now thinking of including payment solutions, digital payment solutions. So what is your advice to such a person that is just starting out? Please share. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Happiness. Really, first of all, you have to understand the kind of business that you are in, right? So are you an on-prem business, right? Meaning that you have a physical store and you want your customers to come into your store to buy. So for instance, that would be if you sell beauty solutions or beauty products that people want to try out before they buy, right? Is that your business model? Or are you an e-commerce business where you do not have to have a physical store? You can sell from your Instagram page, you can have your website. Also looking at your customer base, where are they and what do they prefer, right? Once you understand the kind of business that you have and then the kind of customers that you want to serve, that helps you in choosing the best digital payment solution. So if you have a physical business, you definitely would want to have a POS machine because it means that people want to come to your store and they'll most likely be making payments with their cards, right? You want to have access, you want them to have access to mobile app payment. They're able to make transfers on the spot, right? If you have an e-commerce business or you have an online business, you must take cognizance of that fact that you might need a payment gateway, meaning that on your website, customers can make payments directly without the need to provide you with cash or the need to slot their card into a particular POS machine, right? Also, what your customers prefer, right? You also need to put in place convenience for your customers because most times in sales, more convenience would equal more sales, right? So you have to address all of these deterrent and also now make an informed decision. Also looking at costs. Cost is also very important, right? And looking at how easy it is to integrate these solutions to your existing systems. So these are some of the key things that you need to look out for when you're choosing, a digital payment solution for an SME.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Chizurum, for answering that question. So to our viewers, I mean, I'm sure you've learned a lot. You've received a whole lot of insights from Chizurum Amagwu's session. If you have questions regarding several of the things that he has touched on, please kindly drop your questions in the chat box. I'm sure our speakers will be most delighted to take on your questions. So, Chizurum, please stay put. I mean, I'm coming right back to you in a moment. I'd like to take our next speaker right now, our seasoned, phenomenal woman. I'll be kicking off with the amazing and fantastic Maryjane Okpala, our seasoned fintech and payments leader over the years. Please share with us your presentation. Thank you.
Okay,
kindly,
I would
we
be
can
going.
hear you now.
Okay, great. I would be sharing my screen in a bit. Give me a minute. Let me pull that up. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Not yet. Not yet.
Give me a minute.
So our viewers, you can kindly go ahead and drop your questions. Now is the time to drop your questions so we can compile them and see how much of your questions we can attend to today. Okay, Maryjane, over to you.
Please confirm if you can see my screen now.
Clearly, we can see it clearly.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Hello, my amiable speakers. My name is Maryjane Okpala, a seasoned senior grade lead here at BudPay, and I would like to begin by, asking a question that I know is something that we may all be able to relate to, right? And my question is, as an SME, how many of us has ever lost a customer just because we couldn't accept the payment method they wanted to use? Maybe the customer didn't have cash, maybe your POS wasn't working, or your bank transfers didn't reflect immediately and you needed to, go call on the manager to come confirm the payment. At the end of the day, the truth is most customers are looking out for speed. Most customers are looking out for trust. Most customers are looking for convenience. And that is pretty much why digital payments are no longer an option for SMEs. They are basically the lifeline for growth. As an SME, you must be able to accept digital payments. You don't want a situation where your customers come, they're not able to pay because your payment method wasn't conducive for them. And you may ask why digital payment matters. Why does it matter to you as an SME? Why is it important for you to, right? I would like to say that there are 4 key ways in which digital payment matters for your business. So one is the reach of customers, right? Once you begin to accept digital payments, you're no longer limited to just walk-ins. You can sell across cities, you can sell across countries. You could be in Nigeria and sell to people in China, sell to people in UK, sell to people in Canada, you know. 2 is convenient, right? Customers no longer want the stress of having to carry cash, all thanks to COVID, when the world at large realized, we could do digital payments. People needed to buy things and they needed to pay, right? You want to be able to give your customers as many options as possible. 3 would be trust and professionalism. When you have structured payment channels, your customers tend to take you more seriously. So imagine this: you reach out to a vendor on Instagram, you say you want to buy something, and then they send you the account number, but it's not in their business name, it's in their personal name. There is a mindset you begin to subconsciously have about that business that says they don't seem structured, they don't seem organized, as a business. Why using a personal name? It erodes trust. But when you reach out to a vendor on Instagram and then they send you the business name, or they send you the account number in the business name, you begin to see the business as, oh, they have some sort of structure, they are quite organized, and it builds trust because then you're not being robbed, you're sending to a proper business, right? 4 is better records. I like to reiterate that for every digital transaction, there is a trace. Every transaction is traceable, right? Every transaction comes with a reference number. It helps make your bookkeeping easier. It gives you good insights for growth, and basically helps your book to be tidy. Now, what are some of the payment options available for SMEs? There are so many payment options for SMEs. But in Nigeria here, what are the payment methods predominantly used? We have bank transfers, which is the major, or would I say it's the major, but yeah, it's most acceptable. Bank transfers and USSD codes, where you get to input your account number, you get to insert your bank, and then you make your transfers. Same thing for USSD codes. USSD codes are the codes assigned to your designated bank. So say, for example, a GT bank, the *737 star, your account number, star amount is a USSD code. You want to pay bills, you want to recharge your phones, the codes assigned to various banks, those are what we refer to as USSD codes, which is also one of the predominant payment methods here in Nigeria. Then there is POS terminals, which is the one we see everywhere, where you have some POS devices, you take your debit card, you go to the store, they debit your card for the certain amount you want. Then there is the mobile wallets. Mobile wallets acceptable in places like Ghana, in places like Kenya. And for mobile wallets, we're talking MTN, Momo, Airtel, Tigo, amongst the various many other mobile wallets options that are available. 4 would be payment links and QR codes, which I think it's also a good payment method that has become acceptable here in Nigeria. Payment links, QR codes, where your customers can just scan to make payments. And these are fantastic for online vendors, for Instagram vendors, WhatsApp sellers, where you get to send a link to your customers and they pay directly using that link. Now, for payment links, you can add code your payment links such that you've inserted the exact amount due to a particular customer, and that customer doesn't have to impute amount. All they need to do is make the payment directly, as the amount has already been imputed that also helps your business to, know or help you as a business owner to know who made what payments and what they paid for. Fifth is e-commerce gateways. This is for businesses who have websites. You're able to integrate a checkout solution like BudPay, or you consume their APIs to help you accept cards, to help you accept transfers, or even international payments. What are some of the benefits for what are some of, or before we go to benefits, I'd like to spotlight an SME who is also one of our customers today, NXXN campaign. This business started literally by accepting just bank transfers, but today with BudPay, they've been able to scale to accept payments from anywhere in the world, from their customers in Ghana, in Kenya, in Nigeria, cut across the various payment methods via the checkout options, via the bank transfers, via cards, via payment links. So as an SME, as a business owner, you want to be sure that you have various payment methods for your customers. You do not want a situation where a customer comes and they're unable to make payments, because you couldn't accept the payment method that they wanted. What are some of the benefits to SMEs? What would you say are some of the benefits as an SME for you to use digital payments? One would be faster payments, right? Which basically helps improve your cash flow. And digital payments just means that your money is quick. You get it instantly. You don't have to wait days for you to reconcile the transfers, or even chase after customers that have said, oh, I will send it later. And faster payments improve your cash flow. As an SME, you need cash flow. You need to pay your vendors. You need to pay your suppliers. And that truly is the lifeline of any small business. Two is reduced risk, right? It helps keeps your business safer. Handling bulky cash can be very risky. You're talking miscounting of the cash, you're talking theft, you're talking staff pilfering. You are able to erode all of those things with digital payments. With digital payments, you don't have to worry yourself about somebody stealing your money. The money goes directly into your bank account, leaving less room for losses. It makes it easier for you to just track who made the payment, where the payment was sent to. Three would be access to credit. It helps you build a financial identity. As a business owner, you want to have a financial identity, and digital payments really just helps you, leaves a record, so that when banks or even fintech see your constant sales history, they are able to evaluate you for overdrafts, they're able to evaluate you for loans or even credit lines without needing complicated collaterals. There are a lot of fintechs today, there are a lot of loan houses that you can go to, and you don't have to go with the collateral. All they would request from you is your consistent sales history to show that you receive funds, you have good track record. Last but not the least, on benefits to SMEs, will be the global opportunities, and this is really just expansion beyond borders. Just like I had highlighted with one of the SMEs today in Nigeria that has grown significantly from where they started, and it just really reiterates that digital payments no longer is limited by geography. With the right platform, a customer in another city or even outside Nigeria can actually pay you without being here. As an SME, you're selling clothes, you're selling chin chin, you're selling zobo, you're selling bubbles or adires. You are able to get payment from your customers in different parts of the world. Some of the challenges that may arise as an SME with digital payment, which is some of the questions that you might have, would be, oh, the fees are high, there's fraud risk. Hey, it's important to know that for every challenge that arises on with digital payment, there's also a solution. For high fees, you have the option to compare providers and choose effective ones that suit your business. There are a lot of payment providers out there that will charge you as less as 20 naira, as less as 50 naira, or even lesser depending on your transaction ticket size. So you want to compare and choose the one that best suits your business. Then we move on to fraud risk, right? As an SME, you are prone to fraud. The likelihood that somebody is going to scam your business or scam you or scam your customers is pretty high. So you want to ensure that you're using security tools, you're enabling two-factor authentication on your account, you're relying on fraud detection alerts from your provider. So most providers would offer you some fraud detection alert. You want to utilize that. You want to, ensure that you are using that. You also want to ensure that your POS or even your gateway provider is PCI DSS compliant. And when you hear PCI DSS compliant, that really just means that they follow a global security standard that has been set out by the very big card schemes like Visa cards, like MasterCard, like Discover, to just ensure that the cardholders' details are safe and, reduces fraud. So in simple terms, you can say it's proof that the company basically handles secure payments, right? Or handles payments in a responsible and secure way that could help ensure that, the data is encrypted, access is controlled, systems are regularly tested for weakness, so you can think of it as like the gold standard for payment security. So you want to also select a partner that has been able to, acquire the PCI DSS compliance certificate. You're thinking data encryption, data protection, where they've encrypted your data stored and transmitted. You're thinking network security, firewalls, intrusion detection, access restrictions. You're also thinking access control, limiting who can see sensitive data, monitoring and testing, where they have to log, they have to do vulnerability scans, they have to do penetration testing, they have to do some good procedures and policies on staff training, incident response, audits, regular audit. So as a business, you want to look out for, as an SME, you want to look out for a provider that is PCI DSS compliant. So when you hear that, oh, this fintech or this payment processor is PCI DSS compliant, you can be rest assured that they've gone through the necessary level of global security standards. Then there's also customer resistance. As an SME, I'm sure that we might have come across some customers who will say, oh, I don't want to use this payment method. I'm not comfortable with it. Say, for example, the payment links. They tell you, oh, I'm not comfortable with it. It's on you as the SME, as the business owner, to educate them and let them know that, it's a safe and secure way. It's on you to show them how easy it is to use such a payment method. Then the predominant one that we are all pretty much conversant with would be the network downtimes or even failed transaction. As an SME, for those who have stores, working stores where you have to come in, you might experience downtime. Say, for example, if you're using the POS devices, the solution to that is just always ensure that you have backup channels ready. So if your predominant payment method is POS, you want to have bank transfer as an alternative. You want to have QR code as an alternative. You want to have payment links as an alternative, just so you don't lose deals, so you don't lose sales, right? And I'd like to leave us with a few things, which is, as an SME, you want to start small. You want to start today. You want to keep records, because keeping records is it cannot be overemphasized, right? And most importantly, choose a partner that wants to grow with you. A lot of partners out there, might be on the side of collecting payments, but as an SME, as a business, you want to ensure that when you're picking your payment provider, you want to pick one that is willing to grow with you, one that is willing to, highlight your business, show it to the world, understands your journey. And last but not least, I'd like to say that digital payments equals trust, equals growth, equals opportunity, right? You want to make sure that as a business, you are not just receiving money from your customers. You want to ensure that your customers are comfortable paying you. You want to ensure that you've built trust. And for every payment, it's really not just money in the bank, money that has come in. It's growth, it's proof of opportunity, it's proof of trust. And the earlier you embrace digital payment as an SME, the faster your business can grow, the faster your business can move beyond the world, can, scale across borders, and digital payments aren't just transactions. They are the passport that, will open your business to more opportunities out there, more investors, and more people to, see your business out there. So as a business owner, you want to look out for very specific things that I would summarize before I round up my speech, which is you want to look out for a provider that is willing to grow with you. You want to look out for different payment methods that may be suitable for your business as a business owner. So if POS is expensive, you want to lean to bank transfers that may be cost incentive. You want to check out other payment methods that, will be acceptable by your customers cut across the world. I like to say that SMEs have the potential to be the next big unicorn business if you're able to start your journey on digital payments and scale effectively using various digital payment options. So that will bring me to the end of my presentation. Thank you so much. I'll take your questions. Hi, Happiness. If you're speaking, you're muted.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much, Maryjane Okpala, for that very insightful segment. I mean, you touched on a whole lot. And I also love the fact that you were able to make SMEs, make entrepreneurs see that digital payment solutions are not just, the trend. They are actually growth engines. They are a way to scale your business. They're a way to grow your revenue. And it's not just growing your revenue, growing a whole lot, building trust, giving your customers convenience. I always say this across the projects I work on. I say, as long as you are an SME, either you're in e-commerce, you're in retail, whatever sector you find yourself, you are a convenience store. So, which means you are basically just selling convenience to your customers. So it's going to be easier, it's going to be faster, it's going to be seamless. And we're talking payments, we're talking checking out. And, I once worked on a project with a client, a fashion brand. And literally at a point in time, we had grown her followership. She was doing well on Instagram and several other platforms as well. And she basically at that point in time didn't see the need, for having like a well-integrated payment checkout and all of that across all her touch points. And on her website, even after still having a website, she would still tell people to make payments manually and send screenshots. All of those things were happening. And then along the way, she discovered that her staff was stealing from her. Why? Because she had no digital payment system in place, to track all of these things. And then she got frustrated, and then we had to help her integrate these payment solutions into her business. And guess what? We discovered that within just a span of 4 to 7 months, her sales actually tripled. Her sales tripled. So I understand completely, coming from you as a senior growth lead, the importance of all that you have shared with us. But now my question to you is, bordering on the area of, there's something called the diffusion of innovation, whereby a particular novel idea that is new to a community or new to an economy is accepted. There are still some people, we call them laggards, they're usually like the last set of people to accept that this digital payment solution will help my business grow. So I just wanted to give them, answer the questions in their heart as regards to, do I really need this? Why must I use the digital payment solutions to grow my business? Please hammer on this again.
Okay, thank you so much. So to just answer your question, right? A lot of like you mentioned, the laggards that seem to be so against digital payment. See, I understand that for some of them, it might be the worry of documentation.
Fake alerts, yeah.
Yes, fake alerts, or even getting the required CAC document registration. And that is why there is the mobile wallet option. With mobile wallet, you don't necessarily need so much documentations. With just your phone number, you're able to do transactions, right? As an SME, what digital payments will do for you is what the traditional can never do. You are talking increased sales. I would paint a very clear picture. Let's take an SME who sells bags, right? and you sell your bags for 20,000 naira. Now your staff, or rather, let's take a salon. A salon business is a better example. As a salon business, you make hairs, you do hairs, or you make your hairs for 10,000 naira. Your staff comes and says, "Oh, the customer paid 10,000 naira," whereas they've given your customer a higher price. But because you do not have, a way to receive payments other than cash, your staff continues to steal from you. Now imagine a situation where you digitize all of your payment methods. Your customers directly have to send the payment to your account. Your pricing has been put there. You use an coded payment method that already shows the customer the amount they are to pay. Imagine what that would do for your business. Your sales is going to triple, reduce costs. It really just helps you, your administrative overhead errors compared to manual processing. Like, it helps you reduce, you didn't do your calculations correctly, your money wasn't complete, your money was short a certain amount, or even giving excess change. You might have staff that probably are not so good with counting, and they needed to have given a customer a change of 2,000 naira, but somehow had made an error to give the customer a change of 5,000 naira. With digital payments, you are able to erode all of those
Mitigate
things.
all of that.
Exactly. There's instant payment confirmation. The POS devices available out there today allows for you to confirm transfers instantly and print out receipts immediately. Unlike many years back, when a customer makes a transfer, you need to call the manager to, confirm the payment. You keep the customer waiting there. Now, the customer makes payment, you're able to generate e-receipts that you can give the customer. You're able to print out the live receipts that you can also give to the customer. So it really cannot be overemphasized. And it's also understandable if the worry is CSC documents. You can literally start up your business with fintechs that probably might not require you to, come with so much documentation. You can sign up as a personal business, but you're able to use a business name. You want to explore all of those options. And to round it up, as an SME that wants to grow, if you set a target for yourself to say, at the end of the year, I want to make 5,000 sales on my product, you should and must be able to use digital payment. The options are limitless. You get to expand your reach. You want your product to go global, then you want to use digital payment that allows for you to receive payment from different parts of the world. They say word of mouth is the fastest form of advert, is the fastest form of communication. You want people to know that I can buy this thing from this brand and I am able to pay from the comfort of my home in the US without having to go to Nigeria. So it really cannot be overemphasized. Can you hear me?
I hear you. I think it's Happiness's network.
Okay. So just before okay, I think she's dialing in again. Okay.
Okay. Sorry for that. We're back right now. Thank you so much, Maryjane Okpala, for that very great question, rather answer to the question. So right now we're moving straight on. We're building up momentum. Moving on right now to the seasoned and vast Ganiu. Over to you, sir. Please share with us your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 1 second. Just let me know if you could see.
Yes, we can see your screen now.
Thank you for having me. I think my other team members, because we are both in the same field, I've been doing this for a bit, I've spoken about almost everything we really want to do in this industry. When I started, I heard about the Amoke story, and in my mind that was my same example. But I thought about it. Even your fuel station has changed. I basically have to use my card at fuel stations. I basically drive to a fuel station now to get money. I buy fuel and I get money from them, and things have really changed. And coming from where we're coming from, because I'm kind of old and I've probably been through almost everything in this industry. Yeah, but let me go to my presentation. So the first thing is I focused on SME strategy, and because I did see the impressive people you are going to be, and sort of sensed where they will be going to in terms of the presentation. But I don't believe there is a digital payment strategy. I believe it's just payment strategy because things have evolved so much. But before I go into it, I want to tell you about how Nigeria has come and we're doing payments in Africa, how we're leading payments in Africa, and one of the things we're seeing on that front. Been almost 20 years in this profession, I have basically seen everything. But my pull out some data just to help. In Nigeria now, in 2016, we had about 96 million accounts. But how we got here is very interesting because I remember when we started banking and we all had to open accounts with 1,000 or 5,000 there, and the banks came in and started opening zero-based accounts. And back in banking, we used to joke about zero accounts. We say future dormant accounts. But the interesting part was those were the guys in universities back then who opened zero bank accounts and later started using their accounts. Today, as a country, we have 331 million accounts. That means that on an average, an individual has 5 million accounts in the country. And I'm using mostly NIBS data just to show us something. We have moved from an NIP transaction in 2016, and NIP started 2011. And NIP, I usually joke, is the third real-time payment system in the country. I say, and I hope the people in NIBS never catch me saying this, it's the slowest, but the most efficient. And it basically changed the way we do instant transfers in the country, and it became wildfire. You would see that between 2016 to 2024, we have moved from 140 million transactions in a year to 11 billion transactions at the end of last year, as at 2014. We did 11 billion. We did the value in transaction, and sorry, I forgot the Naira values. You have 33 trillion in the same 2016. Now we did over 1,000 trillion. Sorry, I couldn't call quadrillion with a straight face, so 1,000 trillion would just be the right thing. But the BVN enrollment is 62. Now, what we have seen is you're saying that on an average, a Nigerian has 5 accounts on an average. That's what we're saying. 5 different accounts. It tells something. And when we go into things like recurring payment, you know why Nigerians do recurring payment, but they have an account to do it. And everybody has a transactional account. And most of us now have either mobile money accounts or microfinance accounts, and we use it for transactions while we still kept our commercial banking accounts. So where do I want to focus on? I think the focus for me is, what do SMEs really need when it comes to digital payments? I think everybody leads with, I want a POS, I want a card, I want this, I want that. I think we should take a step back and say, what do you need to do? Can you define what you want to do? I remember we're talking about Amoke. Amoke probably still has not changed most of our process on how she collects and spends money and collects money. But what has changed is technology. But she had to, at that point, decide what exactly our process is and how does she pick what she needs. Because if you don't decide your process as an SME, you would never be able to pick the right payment method for you or the right services for you. And in my mind, I believe your guardrails should be: how do I pay? How do I collect? How do I reconcile? How do I report? How do I optimize my collection, my payment, my reconciliation, and my reconciliation and also reporting? How do I optimize my service? Then how do I innovate? And innovate is there something else I should be doing? Is there something more I should take on that I should do as a business? Is there opportunities even in the payment industry that I want to take? Can I do something on how to get my waiters to pay more? Do I want to let them collect their tips in a certain way? And I can give a long list of case studies on how basically digital payments has changed everything. I could imagine when some ride hailing used to collect cards, they used to collect cash, they didn't used to collect, they used to collect cards. Now they allow their customers to do cards. But I can tell you that most people that pay for their ride hailing services, you do a transfer to the driver. So things have changed, but when we zero in on the case study, but we should zero in on the lives, on our own lives. And if you see how your life has changed, you should expect that your customer's life has changed. They are doing a lot more. 5 accounts. Everybody, you walk into a Nigerian bank, you come up with a USSD, you come with a mobile app, you get internet banking, and you probably get the cheapest card in the whole Africa, less than $1 in the whole Africa. And to just put it to you, Nigerian transaction fees is probably one of the lowest on the continent, especially when it comes to card acquisition, POS transactions for the merchant, even transfers. I was in the country recently, and to transfer less than, I would say to transfer less than $2-3, so we're talking about less than 10K, is over 1,153 naira. While Nigeria, our max transfer is 50 naira. And Nigeria is transferring using 50 naira, which is about 3 cents, to transfer something as big as $160,000. So as an SME, the question you ask yourself is, this has all changed. There is a lot to take in payments, but I need to define my process and I need to have the best way to pick the right systems to build my strategy. So if I was going to build my strategy, what would I recommend? I would say you should define your business process, identify your payment needs, going back to what I just showed you as guardrails. In everything, I have been a banker and I've been in fintech. I would say this: reach out to your banks and reach out to the payment service providers. They will both give you either similar things or different things. And what you should do with that is to reconcile and say, this is what I want. But you remember, you have your goals, you know your payment needs, you already have your own strategy that you want to run from a business perspective. So you're getting all this information and you're evaluating the impact of this on your business process and your systems. Now, some people think systems. Writing down in a book is a system. Taking your POS receipts and taking a picture of it is a system. You don't have to have the ARPs, but this also goes to people who have paid much money to buy ARPs, accounting systems, and things like that. It's the same logic. Select your preferred payment product or service and provider. Because I'm deep in the industry, I would say always take one bank and take a fintech, or take 2 banks and take a fintech. But you can only handle that if you have a robust system to handle multiple people. Then you have to train your team. You really have to train your team on how they will use the technology. In payment, we always say pilots, which basically means before you roll out to everywhere, one small shops, one small product, one small section, try it out and see how it works. I used to have a boss that used to say, well, if you build a product, take it to either Okeanri or Idumota. If you can get people to use it and you can use it within the time you want to use it, then it looks like it would work. So try and rough it up a bit, see whether it works for you. If it works, roll it out. If it doesn't work, go back to the drawing board, call your partners back. There is competition in the industry. So as an SME, you know that 2 or 3 people are fighting for your business. Then always review periodically. So this helps you to ensure that you have the best service, you can move to a better service, you can do all of this. So just to tell you, there are products and there are people you should partner with. First of all, I say always go to your bank. go to your microfinance bank. Either you have a commercial bank or microfinance bank or mobile money operator. As in my own view, they are all the same. But I would say that the commercial banks are bigger. They seem to be able to do more complex stuff. But you now have microfinance banks who are basically neobanks who they are more digitally savvy, and you have the older ones as well, depending on your flavor. Mobile money operators are also doing great. They basically are the new wave of fintechs that we have leading the way. But when it comes to fintechs, and they're basically, I would say about a set of them. The first is enterprise system, and you see fintechs who basically can do everything for you, payout, collections, all of that. They can do almost everything you want them to do. If your SME is matured enough, reach out to them. If you just want to collect your money and you just want to get the POS somewhere or e-commerce, they're also merchant focused PSPs. Then agency network is, and that's one thing you should look at. Some agency network are actually helping SME businesses. Because you can earn some money, you can borrow from them as well to improve your businesses, and it's been helping a lot of people. Then there's digital asset and crypto exchange. This is very new, but I know a lot of people are using it. From using this well, they're using it because it helps their business in ways that traditional businesses are not using it. Though you have to be careful. Regulation is SEC. Make sure you comply with the regulation. Make sure you're always watchful for AML risk. And if there's anything I would tell you, just because you got it, you did a successful transaction, does not mean you would not face any of the regulators tomorrow to come and explain what you really did. Now, SMEs also are basically one of the larger importers in the country. They do a lot of importation. And so you have to look at who's your FX provider. If your transaction is within the FX manual, and which means that central bank says you can take out money legally, please always go to your bank. It's cheaper, except if you don't like the documentation process. There's also the BDCs and there's the IMTOs, the money remittance companies. And this is very important, especially if you're exporting and your customers are still paying you via transfers or one of the remittance companies. You should actually look into how they operate and how best, so that you could recommend the best to your customers outside the country. And the reason why you say this is this. You would, and when you look at the female fashion, you will find out that almost every tailor in Lagos has a client in US, UK. They're doing $50, $100, $200, $500 worth of sewing and exporting that outside the country. So understanding IMTO really works. You see people exporting fish. If you probably travel outside the country, one of the things that you see is dried catfish, dried goat meat. So we need to look at that as well and start recommending your preferred IMTO to your customer in whichever country you are in. But there's also something that is not seen, but they are basically the entities that help the business run very well, and those are the ecosystem support part. Depending on the size of your SMEs, and consultant does not mean somebody paid. It just means somebody who's slightly more knowledgeable about the industry, a formal banker, somebody who has worked in payment, who can give you for free, who can do it for paid for you. You should engage them to help you design your payment strategy, to help you fuse it together. There are also people who are technical integrators. Not every SME has IT officers or who are programming people that can do it. So there are a couple of them across, and you probably talk to your bank and fintech, and they might be able to give you one. Some banks and fintechs also provide this hosting services. When you look at Amoke, for example, Amoke sells Amala. But the real people behind her, I don't know if I can mention them so that this day doesn't charge me ad money. But there's a whole entity behind her that probably is giving her ERP services and helping her sell. So when you look at it, they are ERP providers to her. We don't look at it, we just think that they are a delivery company. They're basically providing an enterprise management solution for her to sell, and they provide a platform for her. And they are card pesos. They are probably the oldest in the industry, and they've been there for a bit.
Wow,
But
fantastic.
there's also something there as well, which are reconciliation providers. Most SMEs don't have the ability to reconcile their transactions, and we've been seeing that, and people have been having a lot of tax issues because of that. I think that's all.
Fantastic. I mean, it was so good. Mr. Ganiu. Thank you for delving, deeper into the roadmaps that SMEs can actually follow. Well, Mr. Ganiu, thank you so much for that awesome, insightful segment. We'll come back to you shortly, but I'd like to take on our next speaker right now, another phenomenal woman. She's still here? Okay. So please let's make welcome Abiola Jinadu-Matthew. Thank you. You have the stage now.
Thank you so much, Happiness. Just can you confirm that you see my screen?
Clearly, we can see it clearly.
Okay, awesome. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon again. Sorry, I just saw that I locked it. Okay, good afternoon again. I have lived on both sides of digital payments, and so I worked 3 years leading the marketing. Leading the marketing team at BudPay, and I spent a lot of that time just encouraging SMEs to go digital. I mean, many of them will have questions. Many of them would say that, I mean, can they really trust? Would the charges not be too much? Would it eat into like the margin, their profit margin? And I mean, I was also responsible for creating partnerships. So with SMEs, what are the ecosystems that we could pull on board and get into reaching more SMEs pretty much. And so yeah, and now I own my business, and it's almost like okay, not promoting digital payments anymore, but I'm now seeing the challenges that they were facing, and then they were trying to get me to help them solve. And it really just hit me at the time that, okay, digital payments are not just about moving money. For SMEs, we need to trust. It would help us be efficient. It will help us grow. And so that's just what I'll just speak to my about 6 months now, and a bit of my experience marketing digital payments. So I mean, as an SME founder now, the struggles are real, like that I can say. And we juggle different apps, bank transfers, spending hours reconciling at the end of the month. And Mr. Ganiu just that was like pretty much his last point before he finished speaking. Some of the fees are high, cutting into already thin margins. Customers still hesitate. We have people who still prefer cash and not trusting digital payments. For those of us who serve like some of our clients abroad, issues with international payments, that can be a nightmare. And some platforms just, I mean, don't support our bank. So for example, I think it was May. Yes, in May, I had one of the very first client that I onboarded in the US. She wanted to make payment, right? And she didn't know about World Remit. So I had reached out to her and, sorry, the chat is going up just to be sure. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I reached out to her. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, so I told her about World Remit, and my bank wasn't on the platform, like the bank that I had signed up to use for my business, my payments and whatnot. So I had to go set up, create his any bank account, and then that was what she saw that we could use. So there's that. Some platforms, I mean, aside from not supporting the bank, it takes weeks or some days to get settled, and the exchange rates again are painful. So just quickly moving on. So there's, aside from cross-border struggles, there's still an opportunity. For me, I think it was Maryjane who tagged digital payments being equals to growth, and that being a strategy. And I totally agree with that. I've discovered that it's not just about collecting money. Digital payments help us grow as SMEs. And just speaking to the point, while I was at BudPay, I saw SMEs who checked their reports and discovered patterns. And there was one particular person who realized that most of her sales happened on the weekends. And so she was able to launch weekend discount and grow her sales. In terms of access to credit, I know, I believe it was, I'm not sure who spoke to that, but another business had struggled to get bank loans at first. But 1 year of consistent digital transactions, their history spoke for them, and they were able to access credit eventually. And then the third point point on that efficiency and scale. So in my business at the moment, just being able to receive payments internationally has helped us work with clients in the UK, in Canada, in the US, aside from Nigeria. And while, yes, there's still a bit of challenge, like there's still challenges on the, like receiving payments internationally, but I feel like once that's sorted, it would unlock bigger opportunities for us. So digital payments, it's not just a back office tool, it's truly a growth strategy. And I'll just quickly share practical tips for us SME owners. How can we make digital payments work better for us? First of all, definitely picking the right partner. I already shared a bit on this, and I'm trying to rush because of time. I know that most SMEs, while I was at BudPay, the struggle was, okay, let me go with the cheaper option. What is the cheapest? And then much later, they complained that, oh, I was using this particular platform, customer service wasn't so great and whatnot. So it's important that you choose a partner that's reliable, that's transparent, and can grow with you. Second point on educating customers, I already shared how I educated one of my clients in May. As a new business, I know that there are people that I've had to introduce to platforms just to receive payments, and customers actually need reassurance. So it's important that you educate your customers. And finally, in terms of like using your data, don't just collect your payments. It's important that you look at your records, right? In my business, I've noticed that most payments come in mid-month, and that's pretty much when my clients are balancing their accounts. So I ensure that, the insight has helped me time invoices better, let me put it that way. And just to quickly wrap up, because I'm gotten like 3 messages now. I'm saying that digital payments are not just a tool, they're a growth engine. And what do I really mean by this? I would say that I would even like maybe just advise both sides of the conversation. So to fintechs, you guys have built amazing platforms. I think it's important to continue listening to SMEs, because I did reach out to like the partner that I mentioned that we didn't see like their bank on the platform the client was trying to make payments with. And they were able to receive that feedback, working on it. It makes us easier. It makes things easier for us when like we receive feedback from us. And in terms of the SMEs, I would want us to not just see digital payments as a burden. It's an investment, right? I know that a couple of us talk about like the charges and whatnot, hidden fees, but it's more as an investment in our growth. If we start small, it's like a platform for us to grow. At the end of the day, it's not just, oh, we have this tech, it's able to help us scale. And then also I'll just put it to even the fintechs that if we have the right support, we have the right transparency, it helps us innovate. And I really think that at this point, sorry, just got another message, apologies. Okay, sorry, I'll just stop here. Happiness, I'm sorry if I took up the time, but yeah, just thank you so much. I would stop sharing my screen now. Okay.
We can't hear you, Happiness. You're on mute.
So sorry, I just saw you mentioned you have to wrap up at 1:54. Apologies. Okay. Oh, you're muted.
Because of time, I would have to wrap up right now. But I'll formally like to thank all our speakers for today. You all have sides. I want to thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today on SME Clinic. Thank you, the amazing Maryjane Okpala. Thank you so much, our growth lead. And a super thank you to Mr. Ganiu, fine wine in strategy, and also in cross-border payments. And also special thank you to Chizurum Amagwu, our business executive. It was so great having you all. Finally, special thank you to the super phenomenal Abiola Jinadu-Matthew. I wish we could have 5 hours, literally, but time